On this week's episode of the Superhero Show Show, we'll find out if Naomi's Superman mystery can keep the show rolling, if Peacemaker's story kicks into gear, and how dark is this Dark Phoenix? All of that and more on an all-new episode of the Superhero Show Show. Hello, nerds, and welcome to the Superhero Show Show, the only podcast on the internet that has the science and about every single comic book show based on a TV show. Yes? It's been a while since I've done this. Do you remember how it goes?
I think it's every single comic book show based upon a comic book property.
Okay, there is a property in there.
Yeah,
somewhere.
there's a property. I know that.
Today we're going to review every comic book based on the Property Brothers.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
Long line of comic books by the Property Brothers. People don't know that. What is your favorite?
It's Working Hard, Barely Working.
Number 36.
Number 36.
From December 1967. Yes.
Yeah.
That was a classic issue.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we are going to be talking about TV shows that are based on comic books. My name is Ryan, and with me, as always, today is Katelynn.
Hi.
Katelynn, I'm not introducing anybody else.
Okay.
It's just going to be the two of us.
Yep.
Are you freaking out right now?
There is a lot of space right now around me, and I feel like I'm in a void, but also I feel like I can fill this void with my voice.
Yes, your voice will fill it all. For those of you who are not watching, Katelynn and I are recording from one of those, 23 feet long dining room tables that rich people have, and we are on different ends of it.
It's pretty cool.
I can hear you. I can barely see you.
I feel really rich right now, so I don't need to see you. I just feel this presence, and that's all that's needed.
Do you know what's crazy about people at those tables? They can afford a table that long and put it in a room that big, but can only afford one salt and pepper shaker. So if you need the salt, I have to get my fucking ass up and walk all the way over there.
That's why you need a salt gun. You can just straight salt your friends.
A salt gun?
Yes.
Is that an assault rifle?
Yeah. I was
there it is. This is going swimmingly. Katelynn, exciting show. You didn't catch Naomi's premiere, but now it's time to talk about it, and you had to.
Yes.
Are you ready to do that?
I actually am. I'm super stoked.
Okay, so you did watch it then?
Yeah, I did.
Hardest part about talking about these shows, you have to watch them. Let's do it right now. On this week's episode of Naomi learns the slightest little bit more about her past, including that she's likely an alien. She's told this by a fucking Hawkman who is barely able to do more than grunt. She enlists her friends into becoming part of her Scooby Squad, only to be ditched by them when they have homework. Taste buds, I ask you this. Does the CW have what it wants in this show, which is a new young character who can stand alongside Stargirl and take the DC shows into the future?
So I actually really like Naomi as a character.
Yes.
I think you made a really good criticism last week of the writing because I feel like they have all the right pieces and even the story I feel like is good. It's just the writing needs to really pick up.
Last week was written by Ava DuVernay, which I think we talked about. Academy Award nominated director and screenwriter.
Write better.
And our advice, write better. I don't think she had anything to do with this one, but fuck, man. I totally agree with you. We have an incredibly charismatic, interesting lead character. And we have this mystery. I kind of want to know who the fuck is the Superman. And from what I can gather, it's not Tyler Hoechlin.
No, does not look like it. And everyone wants to know because I didn't see the first episode, but Superman is in the comic books, is from what
Right.
So that's crazy.
It could be a situation where they put magic over comic books and comic books came to life, which would be cool. Something that I've been dreaming about since I was about 2 years old. But yeah, in the meantime, when we're not unraveling this mystery, which is going slow, we have to sit through some of the worst dialogue I've heard on a CW show, which is a low bar.
She has a friend, which I really like her friend, except for the fact that she calls all of her other friends Hun and Babe. And this girl is like 15. She talks like a 53-year-old.
And she only talks in tweet speak. I can't stand this person. I think this person is the indicative of everything that's wrong with the show. And here, dear listeners, is how you can tell we're dealing with one of these characters, and all across TV, is they will call their friends' parents Mrs. H or Mr. H. If you just call them by their Mr. or Mrs. last initial, you're a shitty TV neighbor and you need to explode.
Someone decided when they were writing that they were not going to write out this whole name, and the actor got that script that had just Mrs. H on there. No, I actually, I'm fine with her, and like her Twitter speak, I'm fine with it. It's the Hun and Babe that really fucks me up, because he's like, Hun, TTYL, like, it's like, what the fuck?
You're supposed to be a real human being, and they don't talk like this.
Yeah, you could totally tell that the kids are written by adults.
Yeah, it's just old men who think that they are correctly studying the ways of Twitter and Instagram captions, and I feel everyone. Like, each one causes me physical pain.
Yeah. But I do love when Naomi gets on her skateboard, because it's fucking cool.
Did in this episode, I can't remember if it's both of them or just the first one, she would skateboard and then get off it and her whole school would start clapping?
They did not.
Like, most of these shows are about dorks.
Yeah.
That become super shows. Naomi is the most popular skateboarding rock star at her school.
Just the whole segment, because the beginning first like 2 minutes she was not skateboarding, and I was like, this is okay, I'm fine with it. And then she skateboarded and I was like, I love Naomi, I will be watching this next week, I'm on board. Right when she got on that skateboard, and then she got off and I was like, okay, you sold me, whatever you're saying next.
Hey Naomi, how about this? Make your superpower just having Heelys, and you should be healing everywhere.
For real.
Just get some wheels.
They had a moment where they interviewed this guy named Steve. Do you remember Steve?
I don't remember Steve.
Steve is a guy with a mustache. He's a very typical small town guy looking person. He just nerdy man who also skateboards.
Okay, I do remember this.
And he also happened to be looking in the forest that they were looking in for aliens. So people who like to skateboard also like aliens and like looking in the forest. They have combined together for this episode.
Now, I want to make it clear that this show is not for people who do skateboard. Just enjoy watching skateboard. If you actually skateboard, you're probably not going to like this.
Probably. I mean, I've skateboarded, Ryan. Have you ever touched a skateboard?
I have touched a skateboard, yes. My face got touched by one when somebody hit me with it.
Yeah.
That's about how my history... No, I did. I was a really good knee boarder when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Remember those cool... Basically, it's the equivalent of swimmers who swim with their shirts on.
Yeah.
You put one knee on the board and use the other leg to pedal you.
Yeah, it's always fun. Going down the driveway is really fun like that.
And then I would fall, and then I would go tell my mom to make me a snack.
Make me a snack.
What do we think is going on with the Superman thing, though? And do you think the show is focusing on it enough?
They're dabbling in it, it seems like, right now. Because all we know is there's these shady people that are coming into Naomi's life that are, don't look at this alien stuff, or let's explore your alien side. Like, we have the both sides of that.
And that one side that's not a good strategy to tell someone, don't look at the alien stuff.
I'm going to cover up all these sigils right now so you can't read what it was. But yeah, I don't know if I'm buying the villain yet, but it's also episode 2. But her flesh wing guy,
yes,
who's going to be her like Mr. Miyagi. I'm down for him. He seems pretty cool. Throws her off a bridge. That was fun. Hey,
any chance you can throw a little kid off a bridge is definitely awesome. But I think that they have pretty good chemistry. Mm-hmm. I'm just hoping for a little more from him, because he seems to go from that school of acting of like, way less is more, and I'm not getting a lot from him right now.
He's very serious. And then we have a cool skateboarding girl, so it's like, I'm sorry, I really want to watch her skateboard rather than you and your flesh wings.
Yeah, and the CW does not have a good history with people from Thanagar, which is the planet that Hawkmen come from. The first season of Legends of Tomorrow started with 2 Hawk people.
So he did mention his planet. That's the planet he came from?
Yeah, they're
okay. Hawkman planet.
Hawkman Planet. Hawkman Planet is actually the name of Hawkman's theme restaurant, where all the food is based on Hawkman shit. But yeah, it's I have never known what Hawk people are or do, even in the comic books. They always seem like super tired to me. TV has not done them well. You notice that we've never gotten an announcement for a Hawkman movie. No. I think there's a reason for that.
Yeah. So is Naomi from the Hawkman planet? Because we don't know that. We just know she's an alien.
Right. So I'm thinking that there's some sort of like, I don't know, there's a group of aliens from a bunch of different planets here. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
All we know is that Naomi is untouchable.
Yes.
Like, she cannot get hurt. If you couldn't get hurt, what would be the first thing you
Jump
do?
off a bridge. Yeah, and that's the unbreakable thing of, have you ever been hurt in your life? And you just say yes because you think you have and other people around you have. But to then actually think about it and be like, I haven't. I never have.
I've never broken a bone. I've never gotten a scrape.
Which is different than not feeling pain.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen a video or like a news thing about somebody who can't feel pain?
No.
That's not cool. Like, they just bite their tongue off all the time.
Oh, no.
They'll put their hand on a stove and just leave it there because it's not that you're, impenetrable. It's that you just don't notice when bad things are happening to you. So you turn around and see that your hand is on fire.
She's got the cool version of it.
Yes, this is the much preferred version.
Yeah, she still has her hand after she puts it on the stove.
So you are saying that you are going to keep going with this one?
Yeah, the reason why I keep going
skateboarding.
Back, one, the skateboarding, and two, I'm getting like a Smallville type vibe where it's like the superhero that's just trying to live a normal life does not want to be a superhero because she continues to say, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. And then it's like her friends are like, this is so cool. Or her one friend that knows.
Yeah.
So.
Babe,
it's so cool.
Let's get to the rest of the friends then too, because that to me is always the selling point. For me with these shows, it's less about the superheroics and more about like the friend group and the romantic interest. Naomi is playing the field. I think she's got 3 different people interested in her.
Yeah, because there's Nathan. I think the other one's name is Austin. I'm not sure. And then I think there's another dude too.
Girl, there's the comic book chick.
Wow. Oh yeah, the comic. Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is
and she's not turning any of them down. She's not saying like, "Hey, I just got to pick a lane." To all 3 of them, she's like, "Hello.
Hi. Maybe later. Let's get some pizza." Okay, but one of them, Nathan, he sounds like Obama.
Is he doing a Barack Obama impression?
He is Obama. She's about to date young Obama if she dates him.
I don't even remember that from the first episode, so I'm thinking in between the episodes there was notes like, you need to sound more like Obama. And he comes in, he's like, Naomi? Malia? I couldn't believe it, though. Like, you shouldn't learn how to act by watching... You shouldn't learn how to perform. You should learn how to act like a person from watching President Barack Obama or 44th president, but not talk like that. Yeah. It's a weird, distracting way to talk.
And then, like, the more he talked, I was like, hey, I guess he kind of looks like him, too. It's like, are they trying to do an Obama thing right now?
And then when the other friend just started talking like Reagan, like, and what is the show doing? The president friends. Okay, I am thinking about letting you take over for this one. And getting my updates for you for the next little bit.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Unless you tell me that the relationships get stronger or the mystery takes off. Oh, one guy that we didn't talk about enough was the person who seems to know the answers, but is not very forthcoming with them. The guy who, like, I guess has the power to, like, spin leaves all around him.
Oh, yeah, dude. Don't know his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at one point, he
seems like he's going to be a bad guy, but might be a good guy, but we'll see.
He just might have, like, resting bad guy face.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm on your team. Like, well, you don't sound like it.
He's the one who got rid of all the sigils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at one point, he's has all these leaves floating around him, and he's like, intimidated? And Naomi's like, I guess, man. They are just leaves. Like, it's cool what you're doing, but ultimately those are just leaves.
Yeah. It's just, you're just doing a nice little sandstorm.
Yeah.
One other thing is they find Superman's cape at the very end. Like a tiny, like, square of Superman's cape. And I want to know how that fell off of his cape. Because it's so perfectly square.
Well, he was fighting Arts and Crafts Man. And Arts and Crafts pulled out scissors and cut out a perfect square of the cape.
Because they said, we tested it on everything. We cannot do anything. We can't break it. It's impenetrable. It's like, I didn't know that Superman's cape was impenetrable. Yeah. Like, I know for sure Tyler Hoechlin, he's gotten his cape ripped the shit. So that's not him.
More proof that it's a different Superman.
More proof.
I also love to, in true comic book nerd fashion, that as soon as they get the cape, they go and put it in like a Mylar case to keep it in mint condition.
Let's go get this graded, guys.
Let's call the CGC. Because this is a 9.8 cape right here. All right, Naomi is on the CW on Tuesday nights. Katelyn's going to take over for that beat. I am going to wait until she says it's back. If you have a high cringe level of high cringe tolerance, I say check it out. If not, maybe wait a while. Caitlin, I heard, much like Naomi has a Superman fan site, number 2 in the country, you also have a website you're starting. What was that again?
It's called Only Small Cape Pieces. And it's where we find all the pieces of capes that have fallen off at cons, and we put them together, and we take pictures of them and tell the stories.
Now, is this common, too, at cons with, let's say, less than superheroes, where just perfect squares will fall off capes?
I am a reporter, and I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say this has happened. I found once in a branch a piece of a cape, and I know that there's more out there.
Did you protect it?
I sure did. I put it in a little case. I got it graded. It was great.
What was the grade?
It was 5.
5 is okay. 5 is not bad. And so you are selling little cape squares on here?
I am telling the stories of the cape squares.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're a reporter. I forgot.
I am a reporter. I'm telling the stories of the cape squares.
So I'm so sorry. This sounds like an amazing website, but I just want to clarify. You find a square on the ground.
Yeah.
You have no idea where it came from. Mm-hmm. You write an entire story about that square.
Correct.
So I did have it clear.
Yeah.
I did. TinyLittleCapeSquares.com. Are you building this website yourself?
I was going to. It seems a bit hard, though.
It does. Do you want some help with it?
I think help would be good.
Okay. I am going to send you to cybersprout.net. They are your friends for the digital world, and they will handle everything for you. Your partner for the digital world, excuse me. Let's just look at what they do real quick. They design, they work on development, website strategy. There's premium managed hosting. Cybersprout.net, your partner for the digital world. When we come back, the rest of the show. Now it's time for the pull list, where we talk about every other show besides Naomi that came out this week, starting with Batwoman.
On this week's episode of Batwoman, Ryan, Sophie, and Luke attempt to track down the OG Poison Ivy when all signs point to Pamela Isley's return. Meanwhile, Mary feels drawn by a powerful force, and Alice feels very protective of her stepsister. Taste buds, I ask you this. This is Bridget Regan's 3rd time being a villain on a pop-filtered favorite show. Name the other 2.
You're coming at me with trivia right now?
Trivia.
Caitlin, do you think that I don't know the answer to this?
I mean, I'm. This is why I have to ask you. It's like the test to be on the show, right?
I see. So, despite our listeners knowing that, of course I know, I have to prove it every once in a while.
Yeah.
I have to be taken to task. Bridget Regan, who plays Poison Ivy, was the villain on Jane the Virgin, the CW's Jane the Virgin, and was the main villain on Agent Carter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I did not know that.
Batwoman is on Wednesdays on the CW. Your next show is Superman and Lois. After appearing on this week's Batwoman, David Diggle Ramsey directs this episode of Superman and Lois, making me very nervous about what happens if the CW is sold and all the shows are canceled, and David Ramsey climbs to the top of a clock tower with a machine gun. Elsewhere on this episode, Clark opens up to Lois about his ongoing struggle with visions and admits that there is only one person who might be able to help. Taste Caitlin, I ask you this. Who is that person?
It is his brother.
Clark Kent's brother?
Clark Kent's brother, which is Morgan Edge, but I can't remember his alien name.
Oh, let's say Morgan.
Morgan Edge.
Edja.
Yeah, so he has to go to his brother, and of course his brother's in like little prison, and he doesn't have his powers. And he has to go break him out in order to find out what's going on with him.
Is it awkward? Is he like, so Morgan, I know I put you here, but
so it is, because he's like, I don't want to break you out. He's like, but you need to break me out, because otherwise I won't tell you what's going on. And he has to bring him to his mommy. And guess what? Mommy has to figure everything out for Clark.
Of course. Because
the reason that he's getting these visions, they think it's because of when they were taken over by the kryptonite, or the last season, they were taken over by the Kryptonians. They think this is like an after effect from that. Like
a drug-induced sort of?
It's like side effects. It's a side effect of having a Kryptonian inside of you. So mommy's like, oh man, sorry, babe. Sorry, little hun. Sorry, wrong show.
Babe,
hun. And so he talks to his mom a little bit, and he brings Jordan with him, which is his son, his powered son, because Jordan wouldn't let his dad go alone. His dad's Superman, who has these weird visions, and he gets like crippling migraines from these visions. So of course, right when he's talking to his mom, he gets a crippling migraine, and Morgan Edge, he's like, hey bitch, I actually do have powers. And he tries to take out Superman and almost kills Jordan until mommy says no. Mommy says, You definitely were my second favorite child, and we definitely created you rather than birthed you. But don't kill that boy. So he doesn't kill Jordan, and he gets locked back up again.
Was it like a Silence of the Lambs thing? Like when Clark went to him and said, "I need you to help me." Was he like playing it up and saying, "Oh, the tables have turned now"? Like, did Morgan Edge really like push it as much as he could?
He was pushing it as much as Morgan usually does, and then he's like, "I'm powerless. If you were to let me out of here, I'd do nothing because I have no powers, obviously."
What a little manipulator.
Yeah, and then of course he had his powers later.
So every time that you're in here and Superman and Lois comes up, I do have to ask you, as the world's Naomi of Smallville, you have the country's number 2 fan site dedicated to Smallville.
Yeah.
How is this show living up to the OG?
It's very different. Very, very different. And I don't like to compare this one. I'd compare Naomi to Smallville before I'd compare Superman and Lois to Smallville.
Because of the age of the main characters?
The age of the main characters, and then also even the young characters, it's a very different feel to me. And I don't know if that's a good thing. But I do like it. I enjoy it. I just don't know how long it's going to last. Because Superman is such a side character in this one. Which,
right.
I mean, Smallville, that's the same thing. But yeah, I enjoyed the romances between Jordan and Jonathan. They both have girlfriends right now, so there's those issues involved with that. I went back and watched the first episode, and Clark had to give the talk to freaking Jonathan. Superman.
What are the rules with Kryptonians having sex?
Like, he's like, "No, they're too young." To Lois, he's like, "They wouldn't do that." She's like, he was naked. Yeah. So
he was naked.
Clark was very naive, which I can see that just being Clark.
Wait, Jonathan is the emo one, or that's
Jonathan is the
jock?
Is the jock?
Okay,
yeah, the jock with no powers.
Jordan is the one with powers.
Jordan is the one with powers, curly hair.
When he flies, do they call him Air Jordan?
He doesn't fly yet.
Oh, sorry.
He only shoots laser beams out of his eyes and is a little bit stronger than normal.
Eventually, he will fly, and I'm going to ask that same question. I need you to pretend like it was the first time you heard it.
Yeah.
Like, how clever of you.
We'll totally erase this one.
And then Lois and the newspaper, how is that going?
So the newspaper, there is a podcast out, Ryan. And a podcast is out talking about Lois Lane, how she really digs into her people and she pushes her people too far.
There is a podcast against Lois.
Against Lois. So she had a case a long time ago, which I don't know if they told us about it earlier or what, but there was a case where she apparently pushed someone too far like 4 years ago, and a podcast brought it back up. So now it's back in the news.
I know that this makes life harder to have a podcast about what an asshole you are, but do you know how I would react if somebody made a podcast about what an asshole I was? Like, I would text you every day.
It's like,
Caitlin, did you
hear about that podcast? Say now?
God, to be famous from a podcast,
which she is fine with it, but her other person who's in the paper is not cool with everything that's going on.
Yeah,
with this.
well, she's a little Smallville.
Yeah,
she's like, Lois is from what's New York called? Metropolis. Whereas this chick is a little Smallville. Moment of the week.
Moment of the week.
Well, wait. Before we get to that, is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, going on back to the romances, Jordan and Sarah are finally they're together, and Sarah was at summer camp. And she came back, and she's been avoiding Jordan ever since.
That means she gave hand jobs at summer camp.
Well, you think, but we found out this week what actually happened. So Sarah kissed a girl, and she liked it at summer camp. And she told Jordan, she's like, "Hey, this is why I've been distant. It's because I kissed a girl." She's like, "It meant nothing though. I don't think about it all the time." It's like, I don't. And he's like, "I'm gonna go cry in my room."
That was a pretty good Jordan. Yeah. Sarah is the daughter of.
Sarah's the daughter of Lana Lang Lana, whatever her new last name is, and the douchebag. Yeah.
The douchebag who's probably going to be a super supportive parent of his gay child.
Yep, there's that. And we find out more about them because Lana has been trying to get someone else to run for mayor because the mayor's bad. So she wants someone else to run because he's been running unopposed. So guess who's running for mayor now?
Lois Lane?
Lana is running for mayor with her super supportive husband.
Please tell me when there's a scene where Kyle, I think his name is.
Kyle, his name is Kyle, yeah.
Kyle says, I can't believe my daughter's gay. I'm going to go barbecue while I play guitar, and then runs outside.
She's still not thinking that she's gay yet either.
Yeah.
So we're going to have like a couple seasons of this.
Anytime somebody says, I kissed a girl and didn't like it, and I don't think about it at all.
Yeah.
I don't think about it at all. It's sort
it
of
means nothing.
Yeah.
But like, I've been avoiding you and I don't want to talk to you. And like, I haven't been able to tell you.
Oh, no red flags here.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, moment of the week.
My moment of the week is definitely just Lois being attacked by a podcast, and the fact that podcast was so prevalent and they had to like show what a podcast was, explain podcast, and be like, oh yes, podcast. It takes us all down.
It's because everybody who watches Superman and Lois is either too young or too old to know what a podcast is.
Yeah.
So they have to explain what that term means.
And they do, and I love that part. And that was my moment of the week.
Honestly, I don't even know what it means. Superman and Lois is on Wednesdays on the CW. Your next show is Legends of Tomorrow.
On this week's episode of The Legends of Tomorrow, the gang gets stuck in a house in hell. The TV exec that runs hell decides to film them all in the house, plus put a curse on them that makes emotions run high, making them more likely to fuck or fight. In other words, the legends are on a reality show. They also start turning into shows. Sarah becomes a drunk, vacationing Real Housewife. Nate becomes a Jersey mook. And Spooner immediately takes off all her clothes, becoming a survivor. Taste buds, I ask you this. Which reality show would you become?
I don't watch a lot of reality shows, but I would have to say my favorite, and this is far before your time, is the one where people were in love with Flavor Flav.
Oh, the Flavor of Love?
Flavor of Love is my
Before
favorite show of all time.
But I watched all of it.
And so I would either become a very small man with a giant clock on his chest, or somebody who is trying to win the love of a small man with a clock on his chest. What reality show would you automatically become?
Oh, man. I think it just has to be The Bachelorette because you get to travel a lot. It seems a lot of fun. You get a big house, and it just seems like you get a lot of cool, expensive things.
And, well, on The Bachelorette, you're in charge, right?
Yes.
Bachelorette, or on The Bachelor, you have to, like, pretend that dudes are funny.
Yeah.
But The Bachelorette, like, you're the queen. You get to rule.
Yes.
And then you would just shoot roses at people.
Yes.
Right? Katelynn, this was a fucking delight. I could not believe how well this was done. I think that making fun of reality shows was sort of like, we were over that in 2004, and I could not believe how good this was. Every single time that somebody had a reaction, the camera would close in on them, and the music would soar exactly like a reality show. And they also smoothly developed into it. It started off like a real episode, and then without you knowing, you were just watching a reality show.
Oh.
I can't believe how good this was.
This is why I always think that I should watch Legends, because this sounds like completely my shit. Like, I love reality TV show. I love the shit that Legend brings. I just want to see it thrown together.
I don't understand why you don't. It's your like definite level of like, duh, this is stupid, and I love it. Just like reality shows. One weird thing, Barad is the stoner on the show, and he is the one who defeats the reality shows because he gets off weed and says something genuine. And once he says something like actually earnest, then the camera people all appear and they're like, oh, we can't do this anymore. And then they all have to leave because he said something genuine.
All because he stopped smoking weed.
All because I think that's putting a lot of blame on weed smoking.
Yeah.
I thought that was sort of like, that seems like late 90s to me, of like, if you smoke weed,
weird.
you're a fucking dirtbag.
Because I feel like a lot of people who smoke weed, they say a lot of really genuine things while they're stoned.
Too genuine for me, honestly. Like, often they hurt. They hurt me when they say those things.
So he stopped smoking weed, and he's the reason why they're in this reality TV show land, right?
Yeah. Basically,
it's because he smokes weed?
No.
Oh.
The house lands somewhere, and nobody knows how to save the day. But it takes Barad to say, I'm going to quit smoking weed, to then offer up this genuine thing.
Wow.
And that's when they're like, well, we can't film unironicness. Like, if you're going to be actually honest about what you say, then we can't film it. And that's what ends it. The curse that is happening all over the place makes them want to fucking fight, like you said. But also, the other thing that reality shows do is the curse also makes drinks pop up magically wherever.
Good.
And they keep pounding. Every time they walk down a hall, a drink appears and they drink it. And that's how reality shows work, people.
Yes.
They're just always pounding drinks.
That is, and I feel like that's how they get the best out of all of their people. And God, did they bring anything else from other reality TV shows like Love Island or anything like Mike would love, or like Roses, like Bachelorette or something?
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. Well, like in general, like you would see a boom mic every once in a while. Like every once in a while, people would just like get hit in the head with a boom mic. And it was really good. My moment of the week is a Zari and Nate fight, because this is Nate and Zari 2.0, who looks exactly like the person he loves, but they get into it and you think that they're going to hook up. But it was just, the whole thing was so well written. I know it's never going to get Emmy nominated. You know, I know that nobody's ever going to compare it to like Succession, but it was the best movie or the best show of superhero history, right?
Wow.
Like we did a whole bracket.
Yeah, we did.
So Legends Tomorrow, man.
And would you say this is the best episode
of this season?
Yeah.
Probably so far, yes.
Yeah? Okay, maybe I'll go back and watch it.
Yeah, and this is why I love it too, is because every show is a new trope or genre.
Yeah.
So like you could skip a couple and then be like, oh, it's the reality one, I'm gonna do that one.
Yeah.
Legends Tomorrow is on Tuesday nights on the CW. Your next show is Peacemaker. On the 3rd and 4th episodes of Peacemaker, the mission finally kicks into gear as we find out that the gang is trying to protect the Earth from alien butterflies. Their first mission is to assassinate a member of the government and his family. Peacemaker isn't able to pull the trigger, however, so stowaway vigilante has to murder the children. We also get to meet Judo Master, a diminutive martial artist who can throw a snack. From there, we move to some much-needed trauma handling from Peacemaker while Vigilante gets arrested in order to kill Peacemaker's dad in prison. Taste buds, let's start with Vigilante. Last week, I said he was a little bit one note, a quick combo of Kick-Ass and Deadpool. How about Vigilante's growth in episodes 3 and 4?
I love Vigilante.
I love Vigilante.
I love him. Oh, my God. He's like...
I was wrong, Caitlin. I was wrong.
Vigilante came in here and he got his mask ripped off at the very end of this. And he has his whole moment of just moving his face. It's like, if I keep moving my face, they won't know what I look like. Just all those little quips of Vigilante.
And that so carefully dances the line of, oh wait, you recognize Superman and Clark Kent are different characters because of glasses?
Yeah.
Like you really think that if he moves his face, they won't recognize you? That's some good ass shit.
It was very good. And everything with the Vigilante. So I don't know if you're going to get to the part where they are captured.
Uh-huh.
There's a portion where they're captured, and Vigilante and Peacemaker are captured by one of the butterflies. And the butterfly threatens to cut off Vigilante's toe.
Which he is already convinced that if you lose your pinky toe, you will never walk again and you will always fall over. And he keeps screaming it.
Yeah.
And at this point, I didn't notice this, but at this point, the Peacemaker team has already accepted Vigilante as part of them. It's only Peacemaker who's like, no, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
And part of it is because he can't stop screaming about his pinky toe.
Yeah. Which, the butterfly took some really rusty knives, so he could not cut off his pinky toe.
But he's also like my favorite person where he's like, no, I think you can't walk if you lose your pinky toe. And then other people are like, no, you can. And he's like, oh, I know you can. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I definitely know you can. And then he gets himself arrested to kill Peacemaker's father.
Yeah.
And then in a baller move, he tries to throw a trash can through a window in front of a bunch of cops, goes to jail, goes to the exact same jail that you would throw Peacemaker's white supremacist father in, and then sits down and does one of the greatest fight starters I have ever seen.
Name one thing. What is it? Name your favorite thing a black person has contributed to the society that we live in.
Mine is rock and roll, and all of a sudden you can see them switching. And I gotta say, like, I can't say this about Kick-Ass or Deadpool. I like him out of the mask more than I like him in the mask. I think his nerdy bravado mixed with those glasses, those glasses are like so old school.
Yeah.
I think he's doing an amazing job.
It's so weird. When he finally got unmasked, all I could think of is like, this guy looks like Taylor and reminds me of Taylor.
Taylor from Pop Filter?
Taylor from Pop Filter. Like, I'm like, oh man, it's Taylor. Maybe it's the glasses, like, and then just how he is. But I'm like, this is Taylor. I
looked him up. I don't recognize him from anything. I've never seen him before. I think he's doing an absolutely incredible job.
He's great. I love him.
And then So he starts a fight in the prison. He gives a line that's like, "Hey, what's up, you sister fucking tiki torch carrying sloth from Goonies looking hillbillies," and then he proceeds to beat the shit out of 6 white supremacists in a row. Vigilante is doing good. Let's talk about Danielle Brooks. Let's talk about Leota. Let's talk about Waller's. Amanda Waller's daughter.
Yes. Autobio.
How is her arc going?
So I don't know what's going on with her arc. I'm like kind of confused on if she's like a plant, like if she's, because I thought she was more trained than all the rest of them, and she was supposed to be playing up the fact that she doesn't know what she's doing. But it clearly seems like she actually doesn't know what she's doing. Like she is physically shaken anytime that she has to do like anything against people. Like she has to go in the bathroom and like really clear her mind or something. And I think that's from like no experience, but also that could be her playing it up as well.
I think that's a really good thing you bring up, because I think that Vigilante is a psychopath?
Yeah.
Sociopath?
Yeah.
I don't know, because he does seem to have remorse for stuff. Mm-hmm. He does seem to care about people, but he is loco en la cabeza. Peacemaker's not all there. Mm-hmm. Merm, the leader, and we'll get to Merm's secret in a bit, but he's not all there. Leota is a normal person. And so I think that the show is making the point of, if you're capable of doing this shit that's in the show, that means that you are fucked up. Whether you're Frank Castle or Peter Parker, if you can do this stuff, you are messed up in the brain. Mm-hmm. And she is our actual, like, that's how we can actually see what these people are doing.
Yeah.
It's because she shoots a guy in the chest. She shoots Judo Master in the chest. But is that because she thought that was her job? Is that to keep him from telling a secret that he was about to tell? I don't know.
That's another thing. It's like when because I was like so sold that she was just here, like this is her first time just to keep eyes on things, and like she has no experience. But then she shot Judo Master right before he was going to say why the butterflies are not as like what you think.
And Judo Master pulls back. He's like, and the reason for the show is... Yeah. And then takes a bullet.
And then it's boom, boom, boom. It's like, oh, shit. She's like, and then she's worried about him if he's, like, hurt or not. Is he going to survive? Like, they're like, no, he's probably going to die. She's like, oh, man. Like, I actually killed someone on accident, but he's not dead yet. But, yeah, no, I think she does have ulterior motives, and I do think she knows more than we think, just because what we know with her and Waller.
So, like, are you sort of thinking that Danielle Brooks, the actress, will in the last episode be like, I wonder who did this all? It was me.
Mm-hmm. I think she's pulling the strings somehow, because we saw how conniving she can be, how she, convinced the dumb vigilante to go to prison to kill Peacemaker's dad. So, like, she has it in her, I feel like, but yeah.
But she played it off so well.
To her. Yeah. But she played it off so well. She told the whole team about it because she probably knew that it was going to come back to her anyways. But I think she's way smarter and more important than we think.
It's hard to disagree. There was a show that came out a couple years ago called Prison is the New Orange. Mm-hmm. Orange is the New Black. Mm-hmm. Where she was the best part of it by far. So I do think that they would give her a juicier role than what she has right now.
Yeah.
So let's talk about John Cena then.
Yeah.
John Cena has to do a couple of things at the end of each of these episodes. He has to, at the end of the third, not pull the trigger. And then at the end of the fourth, really roll around on his floor and deal with trauma while his eagle and his butterfly in a jar come to comfort him.
Yeah.
When you watch this, are you like, this is serious? Or are you like, come on, show, what are we doing here?
It got me. I was like, this is deep, because I mean, he is dealing with like his father and the trauma that, his father caused, and also the death of his brother, and like how we don't know what happened, but he was there and he saw it, and as a kid,
which he caused, right?
I don't know.
I'm guessing
there was something there, or the dad did it in spite of him, like this is what you love, or something.
Or the dad made the brother do it, or there's some connection there. Yeah. Like, my two sons are bitches, fight each other, and then John Cena punches him, and he fell to the ground and like started foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
And
so he's either poison, seizure, something.
Poison or seizure or rabies, I don't know. But
sent a possum out on him.
I didn't kill my brother, so this is a lot I can understand how much this would be for somebody to take in.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple more things. I thought chode was another name for taint. This episode is called The Chode Less Traveled. Do you know what a chode is?
It's a small wiener.
Okay, I did not know that.
What?
I thought chode was the piece of skin between the balls and the asshole.
The taint.
Yeah. I thought chode was another word for taint.
Oh.
But it means penis.
It's a small one.
It means penis because John Cena tries to explain to his dad, maybe I'm a grower, not a shower. Heartbreaking. Also, in this show, in this episode, we got a mention from Matter Eater Lad.
Yeah, who's that?
Who is that? Katelynn, I'm so glad you asked. There is a team from the future called the Legion of Superheroes. Mm-hmm. And they have such creative names as Matter Eater Lad, the kid who eats all matter. And this is something that Mike, you remember Mike?
Fondly.
He died in Vietnam, I think.
Yeah.
We would talk about all the time. His entire power was just he could eat all matter. Mm-hmm. What should we call him? Matter Eater Lad. And so I just love to hear the mention. Also, did you listen to the news in this episode?
Yes. And
what happened on the news, Katelynn?
Charlie the gorilla was stolen. I had that in my notes. Like, where's Charlie? When's Charlie coming back? Charlie the gorilla is going to be a big thing.
Katelynn, the Superhero Show Show is nothing but a fucking gorilla-loving, monkey-loving, primate-loving podcast. And we are clearly going to get a very violent gorilla at some point. I'm so excited.
Are you thinking like the gorilla is going to be a superhero? Like it's Gorilla Grodd? Like what?
I don't know. This show sneaks that in. Like there's one point where Peacemaker brings or Vigilante just walks into Peacemaker's dad's like special hub of making shit and says like, "Oh, I see the kinks in the armor. Mm-hmm. There's like cloth on the armor, so that's how you beat him."
Yeah.
We'll save that for later.
Yeah.
That's probably news that we should remember.
Yeah.
But also the news saying there's a gorilla coming. It wasn't even a big deal. I just got off my couch and I was like, yes, there is. There's a gorilla coming. All right. Who else do we need to talk about? Hardcore, how's she doing?
Hardcore, she's doing okay. She didn't have too much here. She had some bonding moments with Peacemaker and Vigilante while they were staked out, ready to kill a family. So
I thought she was going to have sex with Vigilante just to not. Is she going to have sex with Peacemaker?
I think she is. I don't want her to, but I think she is.
I don't want her to either.
Yeah.
Let's just leave him to be an alone dumbass. All right. Moment of the week.
My moment of the week is when I can't remember. Do you remember the IT guy's name?
Escobar?
Yeah.
Steve G.
Steve G. Okay. The IT guy he's like given one duty. He's like protect the van and don't let anyone leave that house because they all had to go inside the house. So the IT man does what he can, and he sees Judo Master leaving the house. So he runs down that little guy with his van and takes him out. And then he has like a power like dance, like, yeah, I did it. I took him out. I did it.
Katelynn, we only have the weapons that we have available to us.
Yeah.
And if that's a Winnebago, then you got to do it.
God, it was beautiful. It was like the fun that I like about Peacemaker.
My moment of the week also has to do with Steve G. It's when Myrn finds out, like, what he did was he framed Peacemaker's dad for all the stuff that Peacemaker did.
Yeah.
And Myrn knew that was going to bite them in the ass. And then Myrn gets a phone call where it turns out it did bite him in the ass. And so he just looks at Steve G through a window and just whispers "fuck you" at him like 6 times in a row. And it creeps him out so much. It's like, me? Her? Oh, me? Oh, that's what I'm going to do from now on.
Oh, and then he confirms, he's like, yes, you.
Yeah. You. Fuck you. And it's not like angry. It's not screaming. It's not like spitting on the glass. It's just quiet mouthing fuck you over and over again.
We didn't even talk about what happened at the very end with Merv.
Yes. Did you see this coming?
I knew one of them, it would happen at some point.
If not
all of them.
I thought it might be hardcore, honestly. Yeah. But at the end... Here's how I knew it was coming. Myrn is watching TV, and people like Myrn don't watch TV. Mm-hmm. They do push-ups. They do pull-ups. They don't watch TV. But Myrn is sitting there watching TV, and then answers a phone call, says, no, everything's fine, and then butterflies a bowl of soup right to its bottom. He's a butterfly.
He is a butterfly.
Peacemaker is Thursday mornings at 3 a.m. on HBO Max. When we come back, it's Tasmania time. Katelynn, journey with me to X-Tasmania, where we talk about X-Men, the animated series. It's Dark Phoenix time. The most famous X-Men story of all time is here. When we open up, Charles and Moira are studying Jean. When the Phoenix blows up the lab, after laughing like a nerd, she straight up says, "I'm Phoenix." Was that intimidating to you?
Oh my God. The whole Phoenix behind her was intimidating. I'm Phoenix. I was like, okay, we get it.
Would you buy one Courtney Love album, Phoenix? And now you think you can talk like this?
She breaks out, and we have Phoenix, and it's like, okay, Phoenix. Now what? What would you like?
We've noticed that when you have to study a boy, you put him in a tube of water. Mm-hmm. It's just always a big long tube. But when you have to study a girl, you put a helmet on her head and just chains around her arms, and she's gonna break out of that. Mm-hmm. And Phoenix does. Oh yeah, she breaks it. She breaks it more than she just breaks it. She breaks the whole center that's observing her. Yeah. Break some glass. Don't break the jail cell, break the jail. Yeah. That's what she does. Yep, she does it. She liberates everyone from there, which is only her. So from there, Charles and Moira are out of options. We don't know what to do here. Mm-hmm. Jean is fucking crazy. But before we get into it, have you ever heard of the Dark Phoenix saga? Have you seen any of the movies? No, I haven't, but I know generally what it is, but I've never watched any of the movies, but I've read about it. Okay. We meet Dazzler. And Katelynn, for people that are maybe 5 years older than me, Dazzler is a very big deal. Very big, fictional turn on. We see her performing in a bar or a club that Scott and Remy LeBeau, Gambit, are in. What do you think of Dazzler? Dazzler, I don't know what to think about her because she was just a performer, pretty, it seemed like, and everyone was there looking at her. I didn't have much to think about her. So they're all in the club watching her, and I think Scott gets a little smitten. Yeah. A little too smitten? Yeah. No, he definitely does. You can see he's got eyes on her, so much so that he follows her out back. Follows her out back, right. Yeah. Not to the outback. No. No. To have a bloomin' onion, but to the outback, I'm going to rescue her. And then Dazzler is attacked by, I'm going to call it the Revolutionary Soldier and his mimes. Yeah. The Revolutionary Soldier, who we find out is part, what are they called? The Inner Circle. Well, no, he's, what are they called? Android. He's a part android. He's part android, yeah. Yeah, he is in the Inner Circle as well, but yeah. He has that metal arm, which you would think would help him, but really hurts him for most of this show. Hurts him and also makes the craziest, it's like someone didn't even make a noise. They, did it with their mouth. How I did it is how it sounds. Oh, no, you got me. It's okay. And there's people, he is the nerd of the Inner Circle, so people will pick on him, and they'll be like, oh, are you tough? That refrigerator is a magnet. And he'll be like, what? And then just get attached to the refrigerator and be like, when I get loose from here, I'll deal with you. Does Scott like Dazzler? I think Scott is I think Scott does like Dazzler. And right now, Jean Grey is currently occupied with Phoenix. So Scott is interested by Dazzler. And you can tell that. And I mean, you don't get a lot into it, but from the surface, definitely Scott's got some eyes for this girl. I swear to God, there's a point where Jean's like, Scott, I need you. And Scott hangs up the psychic phone in order to talk to Dazzler for 5 more minutes. It's like when you get a text from your boyfriend, you're like, no, I'm gonna keep talking to the guy I'm talking to. Yep. All right. Well, Scott goes home, and we meet a Wolverine who is in the kitchen saying, "Where are you, salami? I can smell the salami." Is this the kind of Wolverine that we want? This is the kind of Wolverine that I expect in a TV show, just looking for meat, really just talking to his meat, well, I'm gonna put you in my mouth, I'm gonna slash you up and eat you, something. This is how I picture Wolverine always. Oh, you sweet honey baked ham. I'm gonna fucking attack that. I mean, what is Wolverine's favorite smelling meat? I think we have to ask. Is it just hot dogs? Is it basic hot dogs? I think it's got to be salami. The way he talks is salami, man. He really does open that fridge and says it like such a creepazoid.
Yeah. He loves that salami, and then he's like, you want a sandwich? To Scott, which is a nice friend thing to do.
Let me ask you this. You're an X-Man.
Yeah.
Which, we have to admit, they're all roommates, right? It's like the real world.
Yeah.
And so you come downstairs, and Wolverine is already in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Are you heading back upstairs?
Unless Wolverine offers to make me a sandwich, then I am heading upstairs.
The way he says, I can smell the salami. It just freaks me out.
I feel like I connect with Wolverine in this moment. The way that Wolverine makes a sandwich and I make a sandwich is very similar.
Do you have Salamdar? Can you always smell salami wherever it is?
Yes, and I can sniff it out. I'm like a bloodhound, but only for salami.
Guys, listeners, the way that Wolverine knows there's salami in this fridge is... I mean, I guess it's handy, but it's also disgusting. And then Professor X wheels Jean in. Mm-hmm. Jean looks like hell. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, Scott, I think that we should be able to handle this. Scott does this amazing thing where he's like, I have a psychic connection with her, and then puts his fingers to his head, which is, I think, the X-Men version of thumb and pinky. Uh-huh. This is what a telephone means.
Yeah.
You know, instead of doing this, I do this. I do psychic connection. Mm-hmm. Do you think they actually have one?
I mean, we saw them have their connection, but I don't think he has any control over the connection. It seems like mostly Jean Grey has most of the connection on that. But, I mean, he didn't talk to her really at that point.
At this point in the episode.
Yeah.
Let's go back and let's pretend that you're at this point of the episode. Who loves who more, Jean or Scott?
Jean loves Scott much more, obviously. Scott could be over there helping them. He could be doing so much more.
Oh, not at a club?
Not
watching
at a club.
Dazzler?
Yeah. I definitely, the whole time I was like, Scott, why are you doing nothing? I thought you cared about her. All you talk about is Jean Grey and how you want Wolverine to get away from Jean or anything. And now it's like she's in trouble and you're not doing anything.
We are wondering what this episode is about, and then we go to what I call the Hellfire Club. Or the meeting of old men, which is actually called the Inner Circle here because I think Hellfire Club is too much of a curse word for a Saturday morning Fox show. And we meet the Hellfire Club. What did you think of them?
Okay, so they all come in with zebra vests.
And this is not zebra print.
Suits.
You know those were made from actual zebra.
Yeah. And then dyed like the most obscene colors, orange, purple. Like, we got all the colors here, and we have one girl in the group, of course, who was talked down to by all the men, and she's wearing all white.
Way more powerful than all of them.
Yes, but they all talk to her like, oh, you can't do that. Like,
we think that you're lesser than the guy with a robot arm,
yeah,
who we treat like the Urkel of the group.
Yeah, so you can see the dynamic there. They all seem like pieces of shit, so perfect villain group. Inner Circle, but they all have powers, so they're all like a mutant group too.
Right.
So it's basically X-Men versus the Inner Circle at this point.
And they're all using their powers for whatever they want to.
Yes.
And then they tell the whole story about how the Phoenix flew into the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Were you with this story? Like, did you understand everything?
I haven't seen prior episodes to this in a while.
I have, and I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, there's a lot that I've missed here. Mm-hmm. And to the Phoenix, okay, did we know this? What's going on? Yeah. No, I didn't get a lot of it.
Space Firebird is angry.
Yeah.
I think that's how I could break it down.
Yeah.
We go back to the X Mansion. We're at the hospital. Jean Grey is not doing good. And everybody is at her bedside being like, is this going to be okay? And then she starts shooting a shit ton of blinding light out of her eyes and mouth.
Yeah.
And I have to ask you, how much blinding light out of eyes and mouth is too much where you're like, maybe we should call a real doctor and try and figure this out?
Yeah. I saw her. It was like watching a friend throw up and like just not be okay. It's like, we can't fix that by having her take a nap.
And Caitlin, most of your friends, they will projectile vomit out of their mouth, but then also have tears of vomit coming out of their eyes.
Yes.
And that's horrifying.
Yep.
What do you do there?
Every pore, there's like there's throat coming out of your armpits and everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty gross.
It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
Can you keep your light to yourself, Jean Grey?
Yeah. So she shoots that light. It does look like an exorcism type thing, though.
But then Scott says, this is awkward, but I do have to go back to that club where I met Dazzler. And then Jean says, oh, do you? I think you don't. And Caitlin, I have to ask you, because I don't understand things. Is the Dark Phoenix is that just another name for girls being on their period? Is this all what this episode is?
Dark Phoenix time. I think it was just it's like her truly saying what she thinks, because I mean it's obvious. Scott, he does not need to go back to Dazzler. He can send someone else there. So I think it's very valid for her to feel this jealousy, and I feel like Jean Grey wouldn't say it, but the Phoenix is bringing out her true feelings, which is like, why the fuck would you leave me? I just like barfed out light. Like, can you not stay with me? That's the least you can do.
I can't help but agree. There are 37 X-Men. One of them can go back to the club, and Scott's like, well, it has to be me. And she's like, you want to see that woman? And he's like, what? No, that's crazy.
No.
Oh, how? And he's like, you don't have to worry about her. And she says the ultimate line of the episode, which is, she has to worry about me. Mm-hmm. That's how it rolls. I love Jean in this episode because it's just, the whole show has been underappreciating her. Mm-hmm. And this is the episode where it's like, this is what you get when you underappreciate a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can see that. Scott definitely does not appreciate Jean. And then he just goes to go help out Dazzler and be like her bodyguard.
So then we get on a pirate ship. I don't know how long you want to talk about this, but I want to get to the next part. But let's talk about the pirate ship a little bit. Jean is talked into being part of the inner circle, part of the Hellfire Club. And it's like, no, Jean, we've been married for years. Like, you don't even remember? That's crazy. And then we get back to Jean being married to a member of the inner circle and walks past Scott and Dazzler. And Dazzler, the way that Scott is acting is insane. But then Dazzler is like, girlfriend? More like ex-girlfriend. Look at this bitch. Hello. You should get rid of her. Is Dazzler the ultimate villain of this episode?
Dazzler is just out here spitting her game. She's doing her thing. I have no hate for Dazzler, to be honest. It's all Scott, because Scott is the one who's making the choices here. He's the one who knows the whole story. Dazzler's like just here trying to get her man.
And Dazzler thought that like her and Scott had a connection. Mm-hmm. She didn't know about this whole inner circle, psychic connection, X-Men thing. So she's just getting into Scott. Scott let it on the entire time.
Oh,
Scott never said, Dazzler, stop.
Yeah.
I'm engaged. He never said that. He was like,
is Scott engaged to Jean at this point?
Like engaged to be engaged, I would say.
Okay. They've been together for a while.
But Dazzler does not let up. She really does. Like, boys will never get the message. Mm-hmm. Are you sure Dazzler's not to blame at all?
I mean, in this situation, I don't blame Dazzler. I only blame Scott, because Scott is the only one that knows what's going on. He knows what's going on with Phoenix. It's like, she's sick, and he's going off to find his new flame. And guess what? His flame is a little spicy.
I agree with you. I think that you're right. Couple things I want to bring up. One, Storm is sent to get water, and then when Storm comes back, so many TV characters, they have to start their sentence before they're in the room. So Storm is like, hey, Jean, I brought you water, and oh my God! Like, why do you always start your sentence 2 feet before the door? She could have just walked in and started her sentence, but she was like, hey, Jean, your hotted ding-dongs are on their way, and oh my God! And then now Jean is married to...
Jean is mentally manipulated by the inner circle people, and then she breaks free. And then that's when she's like sees Scott, and then that I think breaks her mind a little bit, where she can go then to the inner circle and then get married to Pirate Boy.
Based on this, if Jean recovers, which I don't think she's going to, but if Jean recovers, should she dump Scott like a fucking sack of shit?
Oh yes. Scott is a piece of shit. Oh my God, he does not treat her well. No, she should not go back to Scott. Go to Cajun Boy. I don't care.
Even Gambit? You want her to go to Gambit?
I know very little about Gambit, and I say that he's probably better than Scott.
Oh, no.
Even Wolverine.
Oh, my goodness.
Bub.
And then there's a big fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. We have to do that last fight just to get us to the next episode. But, I don't know. We've started Dark Phoenix.
Well, the biggest thing in the fight is the fact that Jean Grey turns to Phoenix, and she fights against her friends and she fights with the Inner Circle.
Right. So
against the X-Men.
She follows Pirate Boy. She says, "You're my husband,"
Yep.
and then fights against them. She punches Storm in the face with a power blast. And then there's this perfect shot of her hand still smoking. Because I love that. It's not just a power blast, but like my hand is still on fire because of how hard I hit you.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Rogue was taken down. Storm was taken down. This is a serious thing the X-Men are going through.
Wolverine was punched through the floor, like all floor.
Is this not my favorite shot of all time? Like in all of X-Men cartoon, Wolverine is punched through the floor, and then we see him fall 5 stories. Mm-hmm. And I love how that was done.
Yeah.
It was a little really creative.
Cool. It was really cool.
All right, let's get to awards. Katelynn, what was the best power?
I think the best use of power, there's a moment where Wolverine, they like lose Jean Grey. It's like after her and Scott have that issue and they lose her. They don't know where she went. So they have to call out the dogs to sniff her out, right? No, they call out Wolverine because Wolverine can sniff Jean Grey, and Wolverine uses his nose, his good salami sniffing nose, to sniff out Jean Grey.
Does Jean Grey smell like salami?
I hope so.
Gasp line. What was the time where you gasped?
I think it was definitely the moment when Phoenix fake married the Pirate Man. Or
this was mine as well.
Like, what?
And where is, like, isn't there somebody who was saying, does anybody have any objections? Like, isn't that a part of every wedding?
It has to happen. But no, there was no time for that. And his name was Gene, I think. So there's Jean Grey and then there's Gene Inner Circle Man.
Caitlin, don't marry a guy named Caitlin. Like, that's so ridiculous. Don't do that shit.
Oh, no, actually, that's my notes. That's incorrect. Gene Phoenix gets married.
90s moment?
Most 90s moment. The bar itself. Just how it was. The club. Yeah. Just how everything it was. There was even like a poster up on the wall. Everything about it.
A poster that said 90s.
Welcome to the 90s.
What is it? The 90s? Mine is the same thing but different. It's the random colored clothes. Like it really looked like if you go to that club, you put on bright blue pants, bright pink blazer, and then you're just like, yeah, this is what we wear.
This is it.
Ridiculous.
How
ridiculous people. It was a decade full of ridiculous people. Your LVP.
Oh, you know it's got to be Scott.
Mine is not Scott.
Yours is not Scott?
No.
Okay, so mine is Scott because he did literally nothing to help Jean. He slammed his fist on the table like, you gotta fix her! And he does nothing to help fix her, which, I mean, what he could do is just be there for her.
Well, I'm a big men's rights activist.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated what he did as far as...
He did nothing because he let her handle it on her own. But he also did nothing to help her from stop getting like kidnapped from the Inner Circle. Like after that whole kiss and everything, he could have like continued to follow her or help her.
And just his line too when he was like, "Oh, I have to go see Dazzler," and Jean Phoenix was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Wait, how could you accuse me of anything?
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, fuck you, Scott."
Yeah.
But mine's actually Metal Arm Guy.
Oh yeah.
He was so bad at everything.
He was, except for making good vert vert noises when he moved.
Yeah, but you can't do that with your mouth, bro. And then MVP, Caitlin.
Oh, my MVP is going to be Wolverine. And for not what you think. It's because he made a good salami sandwich. He was helping out a friend.
No, wait. I was thinking salami sandwich.
Yeah. He offered it up.
We're always on the hunt for salami.
Yep.
And this guy smells it wherever it is.
Yep.
My MVP is actually Emma Frost. Who's just like, could you fucking zebra vested, disgusting facial hair wearing idiot shut the fuck up and listen to what I have to say. And she is the Jean of that group.
Yeah, no, she's definitely the most powerful, but all of them try to keep her power down because they just like say, "Oh, you're nothing, you're nothing. You would be nothing without me."
What's weird is that I know this episode is about misogyny. I just don't know if it's pro or anti-misogyny.
Yeah, there's a lot of it in here. There's a lot of it. I almost did misogyny as my most 90 thing.
Or
90s
LVP
thing.
or MVP.
Yeah.
Like, misogyny is rampant.
Yep. There's a lot of it here.
All right. Let's go to commercials, Caitlin. Can you tell us about 2 podcasts that you know about?
2 podcasts. One podcast that I'm listening to right now is called Movie of the Year.
That's a good one.
It's a really good one. I enjoy it. They're doing the best of the years right now, and I think there's someone similar to me on that too.
I've heard a lot of the best of the years so far before they've been released, and there's an incredibly Catelynn sounding person on a lot of them.
So weird. That's crazy. But I love listening to that and watching it, and it talks about all the movies of the years.
Do you think that the Best of the Year podcast that Pop Filter is doing is a ridiculous enterprise because somebody that sounds so much like Catelynn is on there? Does that automatically make them ridiculous?
I think it should be taken down.
Yeah.
Because it is not me. It is definitely someone else.
Sorry, folks. Those are going to be pulled down from the internet soon.
Yep. Just because I said it.
Give me another one.
Another one is Unnatural 20s, which is a comedy podcast where Cassie, myself, and our friend Books, we all talk about what it's like to be in our 20s, our last years of our 20s, and the hardships.
It's so close to being over.
And the fun times that are in there.
As I approach being 50 years old,
yes.
It's so nice to hear that you guys are almost out of your 20s. Here's some websites to go to. YourPopFilter.com is where you can find everything that we do. YourPopFilter.com/Amazon is your new Amazon bookmark. Patreon.com/YourPopFilter is how you can help us out the most. And YellowPages.com is a website where you can, I think that's the best way to search for phone numbers that you need to find. Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Katelynn, tell us about social media.
Oh, on social media, you can go over on Twitter and on Instagram at Your Pop Filter. There's fun little pictures, and you can hear about each episode that comes out from Your Pop Filter.
Who doesn't love a fun little picture?
It's a fun little.
It's just it's fun. It's little. It's a picture. Get into it.
I love fun little pictures, and there's been some exciting ones recently. I saw one with some cool lights on it.
Now, Katelynn,
yeah,
we don't have the money. We can't afford to put our faces on Instagram pictures every week.
Yeah.
What is your Instagram?
At Unnatural 20s.
Do you do all of that?
I do that.
Okay.
I do that. That's me.
And if we give you $1.25 and a chocolate milk every week, will you do that for us?
As long as you give me the chalky milk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can save the $1.25?
I'll take that too. I'll take that. Or a Lunchable.
Katelynn, we did it.
We did
an entire show with just the two of us. I think that seemed normal, right?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have to tell anybody that I had a 1-year-old on my lap the entire time.
Nope. No one would know.
I have some good news. Next week, Resident Alien is back.
Oh, I get to watch that finally.
You should finally watch that.
Yeah.
And Cassie will be back next week?
Yep.
For Katelynn, I'm Ryan. For Cassie, I'm Alan Tudyk. See you next week.